Welcome back to Edgework, presented by FanDuel as part of the Hammer Betting Network. I am Alex Moretto, joined here today by SoMoney and Rob Pizzola. It was the greatest night in hockey history last night, some are calling it. Certainly the greatest night in Edgework history. The Habs basically clinch a playoff berth. The Leafs get absolutely steamrolled by the Panthers, who still didn't have everyone back. And we cashed our anytime goal parlay 200-1. One of the ones we really liked going into that. Hopefully you guys round robined it as well, as we talked about. That was awesome. SoMoney already went out and bought himself a gold chain. As you can tell, he's been spending that money in a hurry. Take me through it, SoMoney. That was a great one last night.
Yeah, what an incredible night. Even that Canucks game. I was actually not watching the Preds game, and I got alerted that Bunting scored when one of our chat listeners, Ron, he texted me. He was like, we just hit, right? So that was really exciting there. We had last minute comebacks on Nashville, Canucks. Like, it was just a wild night. What a great night. I don't know if I'm trying to think, right? So like we went 4-0 and hit the 75-1 on that night a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And like really hard to top that, but I think last night does top it because of the excitement at the end.
Yeah, I also didn't play the 75-1 one, which I talked about on the show. I didn't end up getting around to it. I didn't end up playing it. Last night I did play it. So it obviously feels a lot better to have had that actually, in the accounts. I did not see the Bunting goal either. I was kind of like, oh, well, you know what? It's going to be a profitable parlay nonetheless if you round robin it, because we got 3 of the 4. I thought that game was done. And then obviously Bunting ties it with 40 seconds left. I got the message from Ron as well on Twitter. That's how I realized we ended up cashing it. Rob, what's the FOMO like? It can't be great.
It's never good. Listen, I'm happy for everyone who cashed. I didn't yesterday. I'm also happy that, to see SoMoney, rejuvenated. He's looking good. He's got the chain. But Moretto, like, SoMoney's dressing with the gold. You're dressing like absolute trash right now. I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah, as Zach, I'm sorry, Zach. As Jason pointed out behind the scenes, we needed I needed more Habs stuff, and I didn't want to get the jersey. I'm too lazy to go down the hall. But yeah, I am dressed head to toe in Habs gear right now. It feels
you
good.
think after a winning night you'd get yourself some real clothes.
These are the only clothes I need. These are all the clothes I want. Man, what a game last night. Not only did the Habs win, honestly, they played like complete shit for most of that game. They looked terrible in the first period. They got railroaded. 5th game in 8 nights. They deserve to be down like 3-0 at the end of the first period. But whatever, they find a way. Not only do they win, though, Ivan Demidov is now coming over way earlier than expected. That got me pretty fired up yesterday afternoon. It was pretty hard to focus on anything else. I did not expect him until the start of next season. To get him here now for this playoff run of 5 or 6 games, it's going to be really fun. I cannot wait to see what he can do here. There have been, you don't want to get hyperbolic and stuff like that. And I'm far from a scout. Russia hasn't been in any of these tournaments in a long time. We haven't been able to see him at the World Juniors, nothing like that. I'm basically watching highlight packs, so I don't know anything. He looks great to me, whatever. I don't know. But like to hear guys like Jason Bukala went on the Real Kuiper and Bourne show yesterday, was talking to Kyprios and Bourne. And like the way he was talking him up and how like his colleagues in Russia, him, like how at this age he is definitely better than Kaprizov was at that age, how he's like 50% better than Michkov was at that age. Everything sounds like he's going to be phenomenal based on what the highlights I'm seeing. Sounds like he's going to be phenomenal. I've seen a lot of interviews with him. He seems like a really good kid, like with a good head on his shoulders. I am very, very optimistic. This is a fun time to be a Habs fan. We have not had too many fun times in the last few years. So it feels like the rebuild is kind of paying off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. The only thing I heard there was you say the Real Kuiper and Bourne show, which you said Kyprios, right? It's obviously the Kipper, and I know how it's spelled.
I don't know. I don't know.
The Habs rant, I didn't care. I'm not fixated on that whatsoever. Just the grammatical error.
Yeah, I've pronounced a lot of hockey names wrong on this show over the years. So I think I called Matty beignets once. It is what it is, man. There's too many names. There's too many, like, they're not all spelled the same. There's only so much you can do here. But yeah,
I find that in my head. So when I pronounce something in my head before I've ever heard the player's name before, it just sticks. So then, like, when you see a player who just got, and you don't know anything about them, you haven't watched them play, you come up with a pronunciation in your head. For me, that's always stuck. Like Georgiev, like I can't, George. It's always been. I don't say it on air, but like I call him Georgiev whenever that was always the original pronunciation for me. So I get that.
The thing to do when you're not sure is to just do a quick flyby of the name, or just do one of these, Georgiev, right? And then
I don't know if there's like this is like there's a name for this or something like that, but I feel like there's a lot of times where I read a name and I know how it's pronounced, but then for some reason when I say it, I can't say it the way I'm like reading it in my head. I don't know. Maybe that's just called like not being that smart. But it is what it is.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, I'm glad I held back on the word I was going to use. So okay, I will recap the other best bets for tonight. We did have the anytime goal parlay, obviously, last night. We did cash the no goal parlay as well, which was great that we were able to get that in as well. Obviously, at like minus 108, who cares? But we did get that home too. And our best bets, it was a busy one. I'm not going to go bet by bet here, but we go 7-5 on our best bets last night. We did, one of the losses was a half unit loss, so we did win a little bit more. Technically, I would say 7-6 because we almost counted the over 7.5 best bets won last night as a best bet, and we did not clear the over on that one. So it is what it is. But profitable night, very profitable night when you include the parlays. Hopefully, we can turn a little bit more of a profit tonight because the regular season is winding down. So we are getting into the playoff time. Puckheads. You know the NHL playoffs are right around the corner, and FanDuel is bringing you the best bets on the ice. Get in the lab when you make your same-game parlay by checking out FanDuel's player performance pages that track stats and averages all of your favorite players. Once you know who's cooking, add shots on goal, points, assists, or even goalie saves to your SGP. Missed puck drop, you can still tap in with live same-game parlay and period-specific player props. Right now, new customers can kick off the season with $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Just place any $5 bet, and you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download FanDuel Sportsbook and make every moment more. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus when present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC, or 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelpline.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right, let's get into these games tonight. We will start with probably the biggest game of the night in Tampa. Big one for the Atlantic Division as the Lightning are hosting the Toronto Maple Leafs. Lightning minus 176 right now. FanDuel Leafs plus 146. Total of 5.5. Juice heavily towards the over. This is pretty much a 6 everywhere. Rob, how are you feeling about your Leafs right now overall, and how are you feeling about them tonight?
Not great and not great would be the answer to both of those questions. I mean, Tampa hasn't really been playing all that well recently, but I wonder how much of it was, I don't want to say lack of motivation, but I think that, you look at the standings even a week ago, or let's say 5 days ago, and winning the division, I don't think was like super realistic for the Lightning. But now after last night's result and where they stand now, they win tonight and it doesn't go to OT. They're ahead of the Leafs. I'm pretty sure they have the tiebreak on them as well. So I don't know what to read into Tampa Bay's recent performances because I love them for the majority of the season. Tough spot for Toronto, obviously the back-to-back. That last night's game also going down to the wire where they had an empty net. That doesn't bode well for this type of situation late in the year. I think the game is pretty appropriately priced. I know a lot of people will see that price tag with the Leafs as a dog. They might be interested there. I'm not. I got nothing to do here other than, as a Leafs fan, cross my fingers and hope that they somehow get a result tonight to avoid a potential Panthers or Lightning matchup in the first round. But from a betting perspective, not much going on for me here.
So money, anything going on for you here?
Big game, big game. So I know a bunch of us have the Tampa Bay division futures, which is essentially what it's going to come down to tonight. I do like Tampa Bay. I don't like the number. I think that it ran a bit, and I wasn't part of it, so that's unfortunate. But I think that one thing that does concern me is that I do like this Leafs team in general, and if the way that they were called out last night by Berube, if they are a different team this year, I think that they respond. Now, whether they respond and they play well enough to win the game, that's a different story. So I won't have anything on this game. Obviously, I'll be watching. Our division futures come down to tonight. But yeah, I'm going to be very, very curious to see how the Leafs respond. And I think going into the playoffs, we'll get a good sense of if this Leafs team is ready for the playoffs, playing a game like this after they've been called out, or if we're headed towards another first-round loss here.
Yeah, I still think the number's a little bit big as to where it's gotten to in this game. Like, this is a hefty price tag for the Lightning, who have been playing well, but not like as well as the scores have suggested. They have been blowing teams out of the water, scoring a ton of goals, but they have not been like overpowering or dominating teams. They've also had a really easy schedule. The one playoff team they played, or the two playoff teams, I guess you could say they played as of late, are Vegas and Ottawa. But in this like sort of stretch was the Sens, and they did dominate the Sens. That was one of their better games, but they got stonewalled by Omar. Stolarz is very capable of doing the same thing here. I do think we have seen responses from this Leafs teams at certain times throughout the season when they have been kind of like, I mean, they weren't blown out last night. It was a 3-1 game with an empty netter, but they, by all intents and purposes, they were blown out last night. It was a very one-sided game, even though the scoreline wasn't necessarily like that. I think this price is a little bit big. I'm not advocating a bet on it if you don't have any Lightning futures, but if you are sitting here with some Lightning futures, I think this is a decent hedging opportunity to just get like a little bit of cover right now on the Leafs, because this is a big price. I think if Tampa wins, I don't want to like jinx anything either, but I think if Tampa wins this game, even in overtime, but like definitely in regulation, I think it's curtains for the Leafs in the Atlantic, because the Lightning, you look at the rest of their schedule. After this game, they're at home to Detroit, at home to Buffalo, at home to Florida, and then at the Rangers to close it out. They probably, like, it's very realistic they don't drop another point the rest of the way. So this is massive, obviously, for Toronto. Toronto has that tough one on Sunday where they go second half of the back-to-back in Carolina. So yeah, this is huge. I'm going to be hedging a little bit, but yeah, nothing like where it's lying right now. I'm kind of just going to sit this one out overall. So we won't add anything to that game there. We will move on to the Flyers and the Rangers. This is, I mean, you want to talk about big numbers. The Rangers minus 184 right now at home to the Flyers. Rangers season is basically over, but they're being priced as a team that still has a lot to play for right now, in my opinion. Like, they're being priced as a team that's chasing wild card spot, whereas if you talk to anyone in that room, it seems like they don't give a fuck about the wild card. They want to get the hell out of here and pack up on this season. This feels like as dead of a team as we've had this year. Flyers plus 152 on FanDuel, total of 5.5, minus 124 to the over. So Money, I will start with you here. Do you think this number is too big?
It is too big, right? But the thing is that we watch when I've been scoring out the Rangers games, the last few games here, their numbers don't come out as terrible as the score indicates, no. Right? And like even in that Tampa Bay game, there was a stretch where the Rangers looked really good, and I think that if they had broken through, maybe just maybe that game goes a little bit differently. But as we've seen with the Rangers all season, once a little bit of adversity hits, it just snowballs for them, right? So and Tampa Bay is the kind of team that can take advantage of that. Philadelphia is not that team, and we're seeing we're seeing an inflated number here because, as you said, the Rangers are priced as if they're playing for something. Now, the problem I'm having here is that we might. I don't think it's guaranteed that Shesterkin starts tonight. They are on a back-to-back, so I mean, you could have Igor tonight and Quick tomorrow. Or I've seen they have gone Quick on the first half of the back-to-back as well. So I do think we're on Quick watch. Philadelphia, they're not able to generate much. But I think in this game that the number's just too high here. So I did play the Flyers. I like them down to plus 145. And if Quick starts, I think it'll be obviously a little bit lower than that. But it's just too high for a Rangers team that, although they've been playing well, I think that they probably realize now that they're done. And I think that we'll finally see a dead effort that we've been expecting from them.
Yeah, I mean, on my end, like even if the Rangers show, like, even if the motivation is there, I still think the price is too high. I mean, listen, the Flyers suck. They've been particularly terrible away from home, which is a little bit concerning. I think if you look at the last month or so, their better performances and where they've put in results have been home games. But to me, the Rangers, I mean, I know Charles is joking in the chat about like this being the last generational wealth opportunity to fade the Rangers, but they've been a team that's been overpriced for a very long period of time. They have 79 points at this point. They stink. And you're going to price them like this in a game where, I mean, they're pretty much cooked. The playoffs are basically set in the Eastern Conference at this point. So I'm in agreement. I don't like the Flyers. But there's a price where you play everything. And the way that the Rangers are being valued in the market right now continues to be too high. And I also wonder, like, to So Money's point, they got outscored 9-1 in the last two games against Tampa and Jersey. They didn't play poorly in those games. They just didn't get results. But that also tends to catch up to teams as well when you're playing well and you can't get a result. So I'm with So Money here. I think we probably have very similar fair values on the game based off of what his range was. I like the Flyers a little bit here.
And there's a quick confirmation as well. Yeah. I'm fully, this is a triple best bet. This was before Quick. I liked it. I like it now still. I mean, there's not a team in the NHL I would not be fading the Rangers with now. You talk about how like the Rangers are pretty much dead. It doesn't even matter if they're done in the playoff race because they're mentally so checked out. Like you look at like the way Friedman's been talking about the team. Friedman went on I can't remember what show he was on yesterday, but he was talking about it as well on the Fan 590. And he was saying that there's going to be some serious discussions going on internally. They're going to talk to a lot of these players once the season's over, like who actually wants to be here. They're going to determine that. They're going to determine who they actually want there as well. Like this is a team very much at a crossroads. I don't think they care at all about these last few games of the season. This is like, let's just get through this next week and let's figure out where we go from here. They are so mentally checked out on this. Obviously the Flyers suck, but like, yeah, there's not a team in this league that I would not be comfortable fading the Rangers with right now, especially at this price, the way the Rangers are still being overvalued. So we will make that a triple best bet here on the Flyers.
I'm actually going to bet a little bit of the over in this game as well. I like Flyers overs away from home, and again, Rangers, once you get into these situations where you have less and less to play for, the defense becomes a liability for a lot of these teams. They're just out there for a skate. So that's enough for me. Listen, I don't think Quick is bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, definitely a downgrade from Shesterkin, enormous downgrade. So,
and Charles says it too. It's true. If you watch these Rangers games, like I watched a good amount of that game on Monday, they have stretches during each game where they just have peewee level defensive gaps. It's true. Like it just looks like everyone is just completely switched off. And you're like, how is this guy just wide open in the slot? Or how is this puck, being turned over here and then no one's covering? Like it's really, really bad from them right now. Laviolette seems checked out. He says he doesn't even go in the room to talk to the guys after the game. This is it's a disaster right now. Like this Rangers team is a mess. This is one of the few times I wish Albert was actually here. Every time he's here, I'm like, I want to get this guy out of here. But right now I'm like, I kind of wish Albert was on this on the show this morning to talk about the Rangers. So we will lock in a triple best bet there. Rob, do you want to track that Flyers over as well? Or
it's starting to move a little bit now. So let's just leave it as is. But just so people are aware, my fair value on over 5.5 would be minus 126 right now. Just for anyone who wants to, but it is moving in real time.
Sure. The culture starts with you guys who clean the ice.
You know what? I gotta say, I woke up to the message from Albert in the Edgework group chat this morning, and I just laughed really hard because it was in response to the big parlay hitting last night, where Albert's response is, maybe I was the problem. And I could not stop laughing at that.
I know that was good.
That was
good. Yeah.
I see
Okay.
Rob drinking. I see Rob drinking Starbucks. Were the prices okay for you there?
You know what? I had to buy it on. This is a reward drink. I create a new account every day, and I pretend it's my birthday, so I get a free drink every day.
That's awesome.
I don't actually do that.
That sounds like a lot of effort. The minus EV move of the week, that would be. Albert actually messaged me yesterday and said, I think we need to do a show postseason about the state of the Rangers. I just sort of come on and vent about this team. And I was like, I have no interest in doing that. We're going to be talking about the playoffs. I don't think anyone wants to talk postseason about the Rangers.
That would draw a solid 12 views, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Albert rants about the Rangers. It's his entire family watching.
It's just going to be like, we're so dead. We're so dead. Just the whole time. He's not even going to say anything. But yeah, I put an end to that. So that's not going to happen.
It's tough when your team sucks. I mean, yeah, I know from experience.
Yeah, I've been there for the last little while. All right, let's move on here to the Sharks and the Wild. Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson-Ek likely back tonight for the Wild, assuming everything goes well at the morning skate, according to Rossi there, who covers the team for The Athletic. Wild minus 310 now against the Sharks. Sharks plus 245, a total of 5.5, minus 124 to the over, plus 102 to the under. A Wild win tonight officially eliminates the Canucks from playoff contention. Rob, this is a huge number on a Wild team that has not been playing good hockey lately. I understand they're going to get some, probably some key guys back here, but still feels quite large.
It does. I also think that there's like a very small market inefficiency when it comes to guys who are coming back to the lineup. Now, don't get me wrong, Kaprizov, Eriksson-Ek, they've been skating for like over a week now. So it's not like they're just being immediately thrust into the lineup, but having your game legs is a little bit different. And usually these guys are not put into situations where they're playing the minutes that they were pre-injury a lot of times as well. And that's not necessarily factored in. Last week, I played a similar ugly dog situation where I took the Blackhawks plus 1.5 at home to Colorado. Thank God I took the puck line that night because Colorado tied it late and won no T. This is another similar game for me where I think going to just wait till the absolute last minute at this point in the game, which, listen, if you're a believer in like closing line value, stuff like that, maybe you don't want to take my advice, but I think these types of games tend to drift out towards the favorite, especially when players are returning to the lineup. I think that's already priced in and more. So I'm going to be to play Sharks late in the day, puck line. I'd probably play that up to like minus 115 or so. But this is a spot that I like, especially with a Wild team that, they're getting great offensive players back, but they've struggled to score and separate for a long time now. And first game back, there's a rust factor involved with that. I know how bad San Jose is, but I'll be on the puck line for San Jose in this game.
So, Money, nodding your head in agreement there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I like the Sharks. I've liked the Sharks all year, even though they suck. I like watching them play, but I completely agree. I think that I know a bunch of us have the Wild to miss the playoffs tickets as well. And if they do miss the playoffs, this is the type of game that they do lose. And with Calgary, with Calgary on deck, I think that our tickets come down to these two games here. So I do agree with Rob. I think that it's probably better to wait a bit to get a good number on the Sharks here. Fleury's probably going to. I think Fleury's confirmed. He is going to start in net, right? And I not much I can add to Rob except that I've been low on Minnesota for quite a while here, and I think that they just shouldn't be priced like this, even with the guys coming back. So just wait, and we'll get a good number on the Sharks.
Yeah. Okay, so we will do that.
Georgi Romanov, I'll tell you, that guy, he concerns me in a big way, but you gotta draw the line at some point. Like the Wild in this price range it's too much, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's also, there's something to be said. Like, you don't just get guys back and have them be immediately impactful, and get right back up to speed. I know it's the Sharks, but Kaprizov's a great talent and Eriksson-Ek's fantastic, but these guys haven't played an NHL game in months. Like, you're not just going to come back and be your usual self right off the bat. And Romanov has had some rough starts, but he's also been okay for a lot of them too. Like he hasn't been terrible. It's just a huge number. But we will go ahead and wait and see how big it actually gets as we move into the next game here, where the Blues, fresh off their first loss in what feels like 8 years, taking on the Oilers. Oilers minus 142. St. Louis plus 118, a total of 5.5, minus 142 to the over, plus 102 to the under. So money, anything here?
Yeah, the Oilers number ran on me as well. I did like the Oilers quite a bit. Usually with a team that profiles like the Blues, when they go on an extended winning streak, their losses tend to come in bunches as well, right? So and Edmonton played a good game against the Ducks. They just couldn't score, right? So and we were unfortunate to. It was unfortunate that we didn't get that over, but it happens. But I was fine with the way that the Oilers played, the way that they generated, even with guys missing in their lineup. I do expect a good effort from the Oilers. We've gotten away here a little bit on the number. I would have liked up to a minus 135. Doesn't look like we're going to get that back, but yeah, I like the Oilers. Can't do anything right now with the game, but I do expect a very good, inspired Oilers performance here at home, and I expect the Blues to start dropping off a little bit after their winning streak.
Rob?
Yeah. I mean, I've been talking about this for a while now, right? Which was like the exact point So Money's making, which is the Blues are eventually going to lose because you just can't sustain what they were doing over that period of time, like literally playing below average hockey and finding ways to win games.
Yeah.
And typically wheels fall off of those teams. The problem is the price in the game, which is where we're at right now. And this is the price in the game with like the Oilers missing McDavid, Draisaitl, Ekholm. Like I can't do it at this price range. I kind of feel I'm a little bit upset that I think like the market, I've been waiting for this market opportunity to bet against St. Louis for a while now. I don't even know that we might get them at this point. I think everyone realizes that it's still just not a great team. And a lot of those results were lucky. So tough one for me here. I wanted the Oilers. I can't bet the Oilers at this price. So this ends up being a pass for me.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Gonna sit this one out. I also think this is a case with the Oilers where like I do want to be especially price sensitive because of the fact that they don't really have a lot to play for, and they are still pretty injured. And yes, they're playing well at times, but like there's not that incentive to kind of go out there and like give their best effort because this is a team that knows like, all right, we're comfortable with who we are. We're comfortable with what we have going to the playoffs. Like we're just gonna rest guys and we're gonna just like set our minds on on round one and kind of play out the stretch here. So you do want to kind of be mindful of that stuff as we get later in the season here. So nothing from that game. We will move on to the last game of the night, the Flames and the Ducks. Flames minus 152, Ducks plus 126. Over has run quite a bit now at this point. We are out to mostly a lot of 6.5s or like some heavily juiced sixes. Flames, Ducks over 6.5 on FanDuel right now is plus 104, and the under is minus 128 at 6.5. Rob, do you like anything in this game?
Yep, I like the Ducks in this game. It's been a recurring theme for me betting on the Ducks. I don't bet a lot of hockey sides, honestly. Probably 90% of my volume is totals, but I feel like the Ducks have been pretty undervalued in market, especially in a lot of these home games recently. Obviously, they got really lucky to beat the Oilers on Monday. They got dominated in that game. A lot of their other recent home results haven't been like super impressive when you consider it's been the Sharks and the Rangers. They played a close game and lost to the Leafs at home as well. But ultimately in this price range, I'm willing to back them. I think their underlying metrics have been pretty good for a long time. The biggest issue with Anaheim is their special teams is terrible. They're a bottom 3 unit in the league in both power play and penalty kill. But you look at the Flames, and the Flames aren't much. They're not like a great special teams unit either way. So that's where teams have been really killing Anaheim this year. And again, you kind of get that like, priced in need to win factor for Calgary as well, which I think contributes to where the line is on top of this. So nothing big. I played about what would be considered somewhere between a half unit and a 3/4 unit on the Ducks this morning. But I probably play Anaheim down to plus 125. And then I would say that's kind of like the cutoff point.
That would not be great for your Wild to miss the playoff tickets. So money. How are you feeling about this game?
I think that the number Calgary is inflated here, and I don't think you can deny that. The thing I see with the Flames though is that even in games where they just don't have it or anything like that, like teams that are inferior to them, they're just finding a way to win, and I think that says a lot too. It's not at the same level, but it's similar to what the Habs are doing, where I don't come down on the Habs for having poor performances as much as I usually would. Just like I don't come down on the Flames as having poor performances as much, because they're just finding ways to win right now. And I think a team that's growing into a playoff spot, that's what matters to me at this point in the season. That being said, the number is inflated. I'm not betting the Ducks, but I did bet the over in this game. I think even the 6.5, if we can get the plus money, it's fine. It comes down to exactly what I talked about with the Ducks Oilers over. Like this Anaheim team defensively, there's a lot missing there. We saw it firsthand against the Canucks. They just bleed chances, and they go through stretches of games where similar to the Rangers, where you just don't know what they're doing, right? And so yeah, I did bet the over there. Concern I do have is can Calgary generate enough? And I say that not because I don't think they don't have the offensive prowess. It's just that the way that they play their games right now, they know that they need to play tight defensively. So I'm hoping that that this game opens up a bit, and I think that the over was priced too low, and even at the plus money 6.5. I think we're still good there.
Okay, so we will go ahead and lock those in as well. The Ducks and the over ends up being a pretty big card for us after all, and also some stuff to track. So we will recap the best bets here before we get into the no goal parlay and another anytime goal parlay. I see the suggestions are pouring through again here. We're hot, but chat is, I gotta say, this is one of the sharpest chats. This is the sharpest chat on our network, that's for sure. I see, I see
that's not saying much. The bar is low. The bar is low. I don't know if you've seen Hit the Books chat, but the bar is extremely low.
But we last night on the anytime goal parlay, we could have done even better because there were a couple that we turned down that also scored, I believe. I know Anders Lee was one of them. I think there was another one too. We could have gone like 5, 6-0. Yeah, we're cooking up some good things here. So we will do that in a second. We will recap the best bets, and we will give out the no goal parlay as well. So tonight for the best bets, we have 3 of them. It is the Flyers plus 173. That is a triple best bet. We have the Flames and the Ducks over 6.5 plus 100, and the Ducks plus 131. And keep in mind, we are also tracking to see where the number runs on that Sharks Wild game to get involved with the Sharks puck line at one point as well here. So something to monitor for yourselves throughout the day. We'll get into the no goal parlay here. The no goal parlay for tonight is, as I just get it up here, Anthony Cirelli, Vincent Trocheck, and Braden Shen. That is the no goal parlay for tonight. Minus 111 right now. Cirelli, Trocheck, and Shen as we look to stay hot on those. As Ron says in the chat there, Crosby was suggested. Well, that's the other one I was remembering. We turned that down because we thought plus 130 wasn't a good enough price. And then, Crosby obviously scores the first goal of the game.
You cashed the 200 to 1. Like, you can't beat yourself up over not including some Anders Lee and Sidney Crosby. You're not going to get too many 200 to 1s in your life.
We could have gone 2,000 to 1 if we added those two, though, Rob. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. You can't enjoy anything here, man.
I'm sure there must have been someone that got recommended that didn't score. You could argue that side of it as well.
Yes, there was. John suggested Matthew Nyes yesterday. I remember that one. So he's running it back here as well. We will start there, I guess. That wasn't the first suggestion, but since I have it up, Matthew Nyes. What do you think?
So the issue that I have with I like Nyes. Like, I think he fits the profile of someone I want to bet to score right now. Mm-hmm. Toronto, Florida very much played like a playoff game last night.
Yeah.
And I feel like Toronto, Tampa is very much going to play like a playoff game as well. I'm not so inclined to take goal scorers from that. I don't have an edge on the under, don't get me wrong, but I do think that there's a lot of scenarios where you get like an extreme tight checking affair tonight. That's my only, I saw a Matthews recommendation as well. Those are my only hesitations with taking goal scorers in that game. But I don't mind Nyes. I think in that 3-1 range with the opportunity he's getting, minutes through the roof, playing with great players, challenging.
So many. We have a lot of suggestions. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it either. I think that game probably comes down to a similar game as Rob mentioned to the Florida game. So I think we can park it for now. Maybe we can come back to it if we don't find other options.
Yeah, let's leave it for now. We also have a Matthew suggestion in that game as well. Similar mindset there for you guys. Let's move past this one for now. We have a lot of other ones that I think I like this one from Ron. Mitchkov. We got the Flyers bet. We like the over. Mitchkov's been getting a ton of opportunity now. Yeah. I like throwing Mitchkov in there. So we'll start off with Mitchkov. We got a Celebrini suggestion from Charles.
Like I like the idea in principle, but the guy scored like 1 goal in the last month and a half, right?
I almost put him into the no-goal parlay tonight. Almost. He was close.
Yeah, I get it. I want to root for San Jose tonight, but at Minnesota is like not a spot where you're typically going to see a ton of goals. You have a guy that I just
especially with if you think about Eric Sinet coming back, San Jose really only has one line you have to like shut down. That Toffoli, Smith, and Celebrini line. I mean, if Eric Sinek's back, he's going to go right on that line, and it's hard to see that line getting a ton of opportunities. So yeah, I'm good to not add Celebrini in there as well. We got a Mason McTavish suggestion.
Yeah, I got a couple of guys in that Calgary game. We can talk about it.
You like
Pospisil and Vetrano.
Rob, seemed like you had someone you were going to say too.
Well, so I like Mason McTavish. I think that's a good suggestion. Minutes through the roof, really high individual expected goals. Like someone recommended Cutter Gauthier. Cutter's like he just doesn't get enough ice time. He's like 13 minutes a game. So I like McTavish at that price. I would throw him in there. What does so money say? Vetrano?
Vetrano's 280.
Yep.
And Pospisil. Plus 500. So we cashed a 200 to 1 yesterday, and so money's going to start adding like Brendan Carlo and Martin Pospisil into these anytime goal parlays.
Is Tyler Myers playing today?
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know that I can get behind Pospisil. Vetrano, I definitely can. But you know what? See, like I'm not supposed to be superstitious as a bettor, but I strongly believe that when I feel strongly about not getting behind a certain player, it's like over the course of my life, that's generally not been favorable for me. Like Pospisil, I think will score tonight. Now that I've said that, I don't think there's any way around it.
All right,
I do like McTavish too, though. So I think we're in a tough spot here. We can't have all 3 guys in the.
I say let's go with McTavish. Let's go with the chat. Chat's been cooking. Let's do that. Let's stick with them, and this way we have someone to blame too if it doesn't happen and they can't just point fingers at us. So I like that aspect of it as well. So we'll add McTavish in there along with Mitchkov. We won't do Cutter Gauthier then. We didn't do Nyes. We got a Toffoli suggestion. I know Toffoli's in it. He didn't play the other night. Yeah, he didn't play the other night. I don't know if he's going to be back or not. He does shoot the puck a ton when he is in the lineup.
I agree. I think it's just too risky at this point in the day. I wouldn't mind Toffoli in this type of game. Generally, I mean, he ends up sitting
it's a tough matchup. I'm not like, I don't love it. All right, we do need to add at least one more though. We don't need to go 4 tonight because it is just 5 games. We do need to add one more though. We got like an Oilers player maybe. We don't really like anything in that Toronto Tampa game. You want a Tampa player maybe? What do you like? We need something else. We need one other guy here.
Yeah, this is real challenging.
Zach Hyman.
Hyman?
Yeah, he's someone that stands out. I bet Podkolzin last game he didn't come through for me.
No,
I do still like him.
Should we run it back with him? Oh, that's there's a lot better prices in decently sharp number of FanDuel on puck goals, and maybe they're telling us something here, but maybe not enough to keep him in the parlay. Maybe let's throw Hyman in there as a third then.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay, let's do Hyman. So Hyman, Michkov, and McTavish is tonight's anytime goal parlay. That is 27-1. Hopefully we can. We cashed it last night, but it's also why you should be round robining these too, because how much more are you going to be making if you're round robining these? I definitely would be round robining these every night as opposed to just playing the parlay straight. The no goal parlay again was Anthony Cirelli, Vincent Trocheck, and Braden Shen. The best bets: the Flyers plus 173, Flames, Ducks over 6.5 plus 100, Ducks plus 131. Appreciate everyone.
If this parlay hits, I'm doing tomorrow's show with my pants off.
I just assumed your pants were off right now, honestly.
I'm wearing
every show with my pants off, so it's I don't know. Oh, by the way, Moretto, don't forget you got to bet Marty Pospisil as well at 5-1 anytime.
Yes,
you have to do that separately.
Yes, 100%. We'll have to bet that because then it won't hit. If we don't bet it, it will hit for sure. That is just the rule. I didn't make the rule, but that's just how it is. All right. Appreciate everyone for tuning in today. Enjoy the games tonight. There are some big ones, very big ones. We'll be back tomorrow with another big slate. So Money and myself at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, enjoy the games tonight and good luck on your bets.